Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to talk about new paradigm versus old paradigm, and it's something that is going to be a series, so yeah, look out for the other videos. Alright, my name's Jody Deane and I help spiritual seekers and heart-led entrepreneurs and spiritual empaths to navigate spiritual awakening and really discover and embody fully their soul purpose and mission in this life. So, okay, old paradigm, new paradigm. What are we talking about here? So, there is this kind of theme of new paradigm thought that's come into the collective consciousness, into the media, in books, etc., over the past 100 years, roughly, give or take a decade. And this has started with kind of new thought, and partly you've got the new age there. You've also just got these kind of like new paradigm thinkers, and it's also connected with the consciousness shift on the planet and the Age of Aquarius, and all of these cycles, shifts stacking up together that we're in right now, which creates what we could call the new paradigm, which is both an idea, both a body of knowledge, both a collection of frequencies, if you will, and a new way of seeing and perceiving reality in the world. Okay. And this is from a higher self, like it's like the world perception, life, from a much more higher self evolved perspective, much more conscious perspective. Okay. And on the other side, we've got the old paradigm, which is the old systems, the old ways of thinking, the broken things, mechanistic, logical, deeply rational, deductionistic, where there is no consciousness other than human consciousness, which comes from the brain idea. And either you're like deep in a religious fundamental kind of ideology where it's like Jesus is the only savior, or Allah is the only God, or whatever, right? The story is there. Or you're in the Scientism kind of mindset where it is like, yeah, we're the only humans, we're the only beings in existence that are intelligent. We're the top of the food chain. There's nothing out there in the universe. It's a lonely, random cosmos, and we're just these, animals that have learned how to think and evolved in a kind of Darwinian survival of the fittest vibe. And it is survival of the fittest. It's a survival kind of energy ultimately, and it's also like a self-policing kind of narrative, and fear driven ultimately. And we're talking survival, we're talking really about fear, like fear of the future, fear of not having food, not having water, not having a partner, not having something, lack, right? So it's a lack mentality. Ultimately, there's nothing else but me to rely on. I can't trust in anything or anyone, etc. Versus new paradigm, which is an abundance energy, where it's about this trust paradigm. I trust myself, I know myself, I love myself, I trust life is going to give me what I need. I trust source. And it's this connection with self and with source that is really the same thing, the one thing. And then actually everything else is actually a reflection of that as well. So other people on a macrocosmic level are, or macrocosm level, dynamic, in that kind of dynamic, if you've got the macrocosm and the microcosm, right? That they're also your mirrors, and they are also life itself, ultimately. And so, even though they might be miserable, on some level, they are very much life itself, and therefore, they also give you what you need. And then, plants and animals, nature also gives you what you need, right? So, because there is no inherent lack, and there is only abundance and limitlessness. So it's a very different perspective from old paradigm, lack, survival of the fittest, ultimately. That's kind of what it boils down to, versus new paradigm, abundance, overflow, surrender to flow, right? Surrender to flow. Get over yourself. Surrender to flow. Surrender to life. Trust in life. Be in the now. That doesn't mean you should not plan. You could not plan, of course. But you also plan from that understanding that there is no lack. And you are trusting. And this is a very beautiful, blessed place to be. And so this is, I believe, the essence of what I would consider to be the new paradigm. So it's a fundamental shift of perspective. And it's coming at us in different ways and different mediums, through different channels, whether that's, someone who's channeling information, whether that's you being with animals and receiving the downloads, the healing frequencies. It's you in meditation and becoming one with all things, having that perception shift. So it's very different. And now in this series of videos, I'm going to explore different parts of life more deeply within the framework of new paradigm versus old paradigm. So look for those videos. You might find them here, whatever. You might find them in the description. They're going to be there, or it might be suggested to you. So yeah, I hope that's been interesting and helpful and food for thought. And I just want you to know I love you. And you are actually love itself, having a human experience. So I hope that's been enjoyable too. And if it has, let me know in the comments any questions you have or any reflections and feedback. And if you loved it, then give it a like. And perhaps there's someone who would love this video or find it inspiring. So please share it. All right. See you in the next video. Bye. Mwah. Love you. Bless you. Blessings on your life. Bye for now.